Hello there, I'm MountPain27 and this is Dean of Doom, the show where we give grades to classic and contemporary Doom wads. Why? Because ranking things is fun. Today's episode will be dedicated to Doom, a pretty well-known megawad released in 1993. It's divided into 3 episodes of 9 levels each. The first one, Knee Deep in the Dead, was primarily authored by some guy named John Romero, and the latter 2, called The Shores of Hell and Inferno, were designed by Sandy Petersen with contributions from Tom Hall. I think it's safe to assume that if you're watching this video, you don't need any more historical background for this wad. Lots of folks on YouTube already have that covered. I'd just like to add that my opinions on these 27-year-old levels come with 2 understandings. 1, Doom as a historical document has my utmost respect. And 2, it's completely unfair to grade the first ever foray into Doom level design against the standard that Doom's modding community has developed over almost 3 decades. But we're gonna do it anyway. Before we dive in, here's how the show works. We'll give each level in the wad 2 grades, 1 for quality and 1 for difficulty. We grade quality from A to F and difficulty from X to E. X for extreme, E for easy, and A through D in between. A grade A level is fun, memorable, visually distinctive, creative, and a fair challenge. Lower grades indicate that the level lacks some or all of these qualities. Bear in mind that I'm merely a decent Doom player and only human, so our definitions of difficulty and great map design will surely differ. Disagreeing is part of the fun, after all. For those of you who are new to the show, here are the rules. 1, we play on ultraviolence. 2, each level is played from a pistol start. 3, in order to review the wad I must have played it at least twice. 4, saves are allowed, but I won't need them for this video. And 5, I go for 100% kills in all levels, making certain exceptions in cases where it's just not worth it. I play on Z-Doom with compatibility settings on strict. Now to the wad. E1M1, Hanger. First, I'll need everyone to carefully remove their rose-colored glasses with me. Done? Okay. Hanger is incredibly short, easy, and unmemorable except for being the first level that the first Doom players ever saw back in '93. The main room with the zigzag path through the poison is full of shotgunners who can light you up if you're being rammy, but there's really nothing else threatening to point out. The secrets load you up for an episode-long campaign, not like we need them. I really like that when you can see outside a building in E1, you can always find a way out there. Grade, B-. Difficulty, easiest level ever. E1M2, Nuclear Plant. The start of this one is even softer than map 1, mostly zombie men who will popgun you on your way to the red key. Once you open this odd panel, hit the hidden switch, find your way outside, and murder these helpless shotgun guys hiding the secret chain gun, this level is over. You are now completely unstoppable. Even if you miss the chain gun like I did the first 10 times I played this map, Nuclear Plant still has the training wheels on. I like the idea, but not so much the execution of the optional dark maze. The lighting is atmospheric, but monsters like to get lost in there and cower in corners, hoping you won't find them. Grade, B. Difficulty, E. E1M3, Toxin Refinery. Toxin Refinery introduces the Pinky Inspector, the last 2 new demons you'll see until the boss level. You'll notice a slight hike in difficulty. The opening room can be a little cramped and there are multiple encounters with squads of shotgunners, but secret hunting will again tip the odds in your favor, gifting you 2 soul spheres, mega armor, and a rocket launcher. The pace of play in Toxin Refinery is much more aggressive than the previous 2 levels, and it's fun to explore its dark halls even today. Shout out to the original Monster Closet, and don't forget the secret exit. Grade, B+, difficulty, D-. E1M9, Military Base. This one is uncharacteristically dull for episode 1, a series of square rooms full of imps, shotgunners, and pinkies. Pick up the keys, which are all just laying on the floor for some reason, and hey look, more shotgunners, imps, and pinkies. The only redeeming quality of Military Base is the pentagram that starts teleporting demons into the room when you step on it, a novelty for its time. It's an early example of level designers making the player earn their prize pickups. You can also find a hidden chain gun that once again completely trivializes the entire level. It's so hidden that I didn't know was there until recording for this video. Some Dean I am. Grade, D. Difficulty, D. E1M4, Command Control. Command Control continues E1's fine tradition of encouraging the player to jump into poison to find secrets. This one gives you health, a rocket launcher, and a soul sphere. Watch you don't miss the lift up to it, the switch only works once. You'll get the chain gun for free here, but you don't get as obscene an amount of ammo for it as you did in E1M2. I hate this maze with the imps, pinkies, and low ceilings. Again, the task of checking every corner for cowering monsters is annoying. All in all, it's a weak map, undistinguished and boring. Grade, C-, difficulty, D-. E1M5, Phobos Lab. Here we go. This is where the episode gets good. Phobos Lab gives you your first real taste of Doom's horror element, lowering the lights and cranking up the creepy soundtrack. I'm a big fan of the explosive barrel placements and the multitude of useful secrets, one of which lets you escape the huge ambush in the horseshoe room, which otherwise can be quite lethal. And my favorite secret in E1 gives you side door access to the final room, which is a strobe-lit maze full of specters and shotgunners. F*** that noise. Find the light amplification goggles and go Buffalo Bill on the bad guys. Finally, a map with atmosphere to compete with its action. Grade, A-, difficulty, D. E1M6, Central Processing. Central Processing is my favorite map in Knee Deep in the Dead. It's a lightning-fast bloodbath with some killer secrets and a banger of an ending. The layout lends itself nicely to expedient slaughter, full of open areas and corridors full of monsters, 177 to be exact, more than any single level in Doom's 3 episodes or Thy Flesh Consumed. High monster density usually corresponds to high difficulty, but if you clean out the level's secrets and save your rockets for the final room, you'll make mincemeat of Central Processing and feel great doing it. This is as good as classic Doom gets. Rip-roaring action and great secrets to plunder. It gets an A, with another D for difficulty. E1M7, Computer Station. The tempo ratchets down once again with Computer Station, probably the maziest level in the first episode, jam-packed with impolitely placed hit scanners that can whittle your health down to critical levels, especially in the taut opening minute of the level, where Romero for once doesn't gorge you with soul spheres, chain guns, and mega armor. I mean, he will, just not right away. Gathering keys will release wandering monsters into the level if you don't get to them quickly enough, and one of those monster closets has a secret wall that opens up the outside, where you can preemptively scythe down the last wave of enemies with your chain gun. Personally, I like E1M6 better, but Computer Station is fine in its own right. Grade B. Difficulty C-. E1M8, Phobos Anomaly. The last level of Knee Deep in the Dead gives you a taste of the next 2 episodes, pitting you against 2 Barons of Hell in a room full of specters in a distinctly not tech-based arena. It's really short, which is a bit of a letdown. Not having the rocket launcher here is kind of a blessing, actually, because it's easy to blow yourself up on the specters. In my opinion, they are the real final boss of Episode 1. The Bruiser brothers hardly put up a fight. I think the anomaly on Phobos is the large, red, star-shaped building, which I can't picture any practical human uses for. Maybe the demons brought their own reality with them? Who knows? The ending teleporter automatically kills you and sends you to hell to end the episode. Grade C+, difficulty D-. E2M1, DEIMOS Anomaly. This might be controversial, but I think DEIMOS Anomaly kicks the ass of E1M1. It's faster and harder hitting, with a kickin' soundtrack. The visuals are weaker, though I do like this inverted cross decoration. I happen to like when levels have optional keys. You can get the red key card by hitting this sneaky switch, which also opens up a teleporter to your first plasma gun and Cacodemon. Of all the songs they reuse in classic Doom, I don't understand why I Sawed the Demons got left out. This track absolutely rocks. This is an excellent and exciting opener to the shores of hell. Grade B, difficulty E. E2M2, Containment Area. You know, the latter 2 episodes of Doom get a bad rap, but you'd have no idea why if you just played the first 2 levels of E2. Containment Area is famous for its 12 secrets and crate maze, but I tend to remember the rest of the level, choked with machinery, underlit, and crawling with demons, even more. You can find one of each gun except the BFG here. I especially love how the chain gun is hidden, in a keycard-restricted facility surrounded by poison and guarded by pinkies, as if they locked it away because they know how dangerous it'll be in your hands. Containment Area has 0 hit scan enemies, forcing you to rely on pre-placed ammo pickups and your fists. The introduction of Berserk here is game-changing. If you really know how to use it, it's practically your super shotgun, except it doesn't cost ammo. Helps you save up for the lost souls. Containment Area stands no chance against you when you're roided up and fully equipped, but the great part about it is that you have to earn everything you get. I've come to love Containment Area. It's full of ideas and places to explore, and one of the most satisfying levels in Doom to 100%. Grade A-, difficulty D. E2M3, Refinery, and the other shoe drops. Refinery is ugly, stupid, and weird. The badness starts with the music, which works for intermission because you never have to listen to it for more than 10 seconds, but here, no. Design-wise, I have so many questions. If it's called Refinery, what's with the vegetation? What are these raising and lowering flesh squares supposed to be? What is the point of all these caged cacodemons except to annoy anal retentive 100% kill seekers like me? The secrets aren't good either. Exhibit 1, this door that connects 2 already accessible rooms. That's just a door, isn't it? The only room that's any fun is ugly as sin and inadvisable to take on without the shotgun, which the level makes you run through poison to get. None of the several themes that Refinery attempts work together, or even succeed in their own right. It has no idea what it is or what it wants to do, and it's incredibly unfun. I want to give it an F, but I suppose you can do worse. D-, with a difficulty of D. E2M4, DEIMOS Lab. DEIMOS Lab gets the episode back on track temporarily. It's often cited as the creepiest original Doom level, in large part due to its music and these freaky satanic wall textures. You'll want to hit the flashing wall in the first room to get a starter kit. This level is not kind to players oblivious to its secrets. The blue and red rooms are the kind of landmarks that stick in your head, and the last fight is pretty rough if you haven't been stockpiling ammo for it. 2 of my favorite parts of the level are making Baron Smoothie and playing Baron Punch-Out at the end. Seriously, Berserk is king in OG Doom. Grade B, difficulty D+. E2M5, Command Center. While it's not overtly ugly, offensive, or unfairly challenging, I hate Command Center. It feels like Sandy Petersen's attempt to do John Romero's E1M7 tech-based thing, but he's nowhere near as good at it. The fights are scattered all over the place, and they don't flow together at all. One of Episode 1's strengths is its good sense of when to use doors and when to just blend one room into another, but Command Center is completely tone-deaf in that way. The whole level is just twisty, cramped hallways and pointless dead-end rooms with like 2 monsters. Again, the texture use is inconsistent, vaguely dread-inducing, but kind of random. Only one fight really sticks out, the patio area outside with the Barons and Cacos. Save yourselves with a secret exit and blast your way out of this hot mess. Grade, D-, difficulty, D+. E2M9, Fortress of Mystery. A meme in a time before memes, the secret level of Shores of Hell is just one big room with weapons and barons, and one big room with cacodemons. Just look at this map. 14 monsters? So there's this super crazy thing called infighting, where the demons can like kill each other if you get them to hit each other with their projectiles, and then you can watch them fight and it's really awesome, said Sandy Petersen in 1993. The only mystery in Fortress of Mystery is why it was included in Doom. The cacodemons and this level get an F with the D- difficulty. E2M6, Halls of the Damned. If there's anything you'll learn from Episode 2, it's to expect the unexpected. So how about this for unexpected? Halls of the Damned is a masterpiece. I have no idea how Sandy Petersen did it, but E2M6 is tense, tricky, dramatic, and almost terrifying. The whole level is wired with monster closet traps that are impossible for newbies to know they're tripping, which results in a lot of nasty surprise encounters. The red key is truly harrowing to get, since it's buried in a maze under the cover of darkness. This is the best use of the light amplification visor that I can think of off the top of my head, and the dread I experience as the power-up wears off is pretty gripping even today. The music doesn't help with your anxiety either, that's for sure. The fake yellow key exit must have been one hell of a shocker to 90s players. If you're not prepared, the shotgunners and cacos can easily mow you down. Halls of the Damned is the only level in Doom that scares me in terms of actual fear and from a gameplay perspective. It's claustrophobic, nerve-wracking, and unforgiving. Probably the best level out of the 27 in this WAD. Grade A, difficulty C+. E2M7, Spawning Vats. Essentially a remix of the episode's themes, Spawning Vats is basically inoffensive. It gives you 2 invulnerability power-ups, only one of which is really useful. I do like the flow of this level. The rooms connect in a Romero-esque way, something I wish Petersen could have implemented in Command Center. Once again, the Berserk is as useful as the shotgun here and will help make ammo conservation a non-issue. In a single stream campaign, this is essentially a gearing up for the boss level, and poses no problems even from a pistol start. I don't mind it. Grade C, difficulty D. E2M8, Tower of Babel. Welcome to the Cyberdemons Playground. The hardest part of this map, easily, is the task of killing 20 lost souls with a rocket launcher. The level consists entirely of that and rocket dueling the Cyberdemon, who's practically cuddly with all this room to run around and cover to hide behind. He likes to get stuck in one of the rooms. He's shy like that, so you'll probably have to coax him out. Veterans are more likely to kill themselves out of sheer boredom than be killed by Cybe. Grade D, difficulty D+. E3M1, Hellkeep. Welcome to Inferno. Hellkeep is a shrimpy, lazy excuse for hell, and looks nothing like a keep, by the way. It has a paltry 26 monsters and a paltrier 44 shotgun shells, which means you're going to have to use the pistol, and that blows. Personally, I like to spend 2 shells per pinky and punch them to death berserkless, and try to make the imps infight with the cacos. Oh, hey, and thanks for the rocket launcher after the level's already over, Hellkeep. I really owe you one, buddy. This level's pathetic. Screw it. Grade F, difficulty E. E3M2, Slough of Despair. Initially, Slough of Despair looks imposing. They don't give you any weaponry or much ammo at the start, and a miniature ambush greets you around every corner. Ammo management is key in this level, if you can't find the hidden chain gun, the hidden plasma, and the berserk pack. It's admittedly dull looking, full of randomly placed level decorations that show signs of haste, but the combat is more engaging than a lot of Episode 3, and I'm a sucker for the music. Most of the stuff in Slough is optional, but you know the rules. Before you say it, yes, I know the map is shaped like a hand. Grade B-, difficulty D+. E3M3, Pandemonium. This one's out to get you right from the start. You're gonna have to hustle to get the shotgun and jump into a poison pit to get the chain gun, dodging pinkies, imps, and more than one Baron of Hell on the way. You'll even get a BFG in this map, which won't get the chance to showcase its destructive power much at all when pistol starting Inferno. Still good for killing Barons. The bones and gore decorations are a little chunky, especially these weird scrolling pillars. Not much else to talk about. It's like a shorter and less interesting version of spawning bats, I guess. Grade C-, difficulty D. E3M4, House of Pain. House of Pain is one of the hardest levels in original Doom, especially if you neglect the secrets. It uses E1M8's music to let you know things are getting serious. Probably my favorite showcase of the Berserk pack yet, because there are over 50 pinkies to pummel, and when paired with the 2 invincibilities in this level, you can rampage like you're ramped up with quad damage, crossed with a pentagram of protection for you Quake fans out there. The visuals are okay, more gore and green marble. I really don't understand how the switches in this room work. I usually just hit them randomly until they do what I want. I like this map, but its placement doesn't feel right. It has enough monsters and gloomy atmosphere to be the penultimate map, and the actual map 7 is... we'll get to that. Grade B, difficulty C. E3M5, Unholy Cathedral. I'll make this quick because this level is atrocious. Here's the crux of it. I can't stand the teleporters. Most of the teleporters in the level take you to the central courtyard, and of the 4 additional teleporters out there, 3 of them send you right back to the center, which is really aggravating and unnecessary. Picking your way around the cathedral, I'm making giant air quotes right now, is cryptic and overly complicated because most paths lead to teleporters which take you back to the center, again, unnecessarily. It's like they included the teleporter gimmick because they felt like they had to compensate for the level being stale and boring, which it still is. Unholy Cathedral passes by the skin of its teeth with a D- only because it includes Berserk, and it gets a D for difficulty. E3M6, Mount Erebus. Yet another strong map. 6, Mount Erebus goes heavy on the fire blue, but that's about the only fault I can find with it. The whole level takes place on an island in the middle of a lake of super lava. You take 20 points of damage per second out there, and not even a rad suit will keep you completely safe. I don't love the flocks of lost souls that get released when you cross the wrong line def, but I do like how this map keeps you on your toes. This is a shining moment for the Cacodemon, who thrives in this environment visually and strategically. The fights in Mount Erebus share more with Doom 2 than anything in Inferno, and the level is better for it. Make sure you save an invincibility for the rocket jump to the secret exit. Grade B+, difficulty C-. E3M9, Warrens. Warrens is a copy of E3M1 until you try to exit. Then the walls drop to reveal a lot of rockets and a Cyberdemon. You'll have to backtrack through a tougher version of the map to exit. It's probably the best gimmick of any secret level in original Doom, but I'm still not wild about it visually and it's not much of a challenge. If you don't use the invincibility when fighting the Cyberdemon, which without a BFG there's really no reason to, you can blast right through a good chunk of the monsters while preserving enough plasma and bullets to tear apart the hive of shotgunners at the end, which is the only real tricky part of this map. It's a novelty, I guess, but completely skippable. Grade C-, difficulty D+. E3M7, Limbo. 47 monsters? Are you kidding me? The hardest part of Limbo is containing your frustration at 1, how wimpy the opposition is, and 2, the ludicrous teleport puzzle that you'll spend most of the map doing. If you don't know the order of operations regarding the latter, you're in for a bad time, because Limbo has no interest in telling you where to go or what to do when. It actually anticipates your frustration because it gives you 10 radiation suits, most of which are placed in this out-of-the-way bloody tunnel, not somewhere convenient, or centrally located, of course. I'm not kidding when I say that first-time players might actually take more damage from the literal floor than the monsters. I set my personal best time while recording for this episode, and it still took me 6 minutes to beat this boring, sniveling disappointment of a penultimate level. Grade D-, difficulty D-. And finally, E3M8, Dis. In an ending worthy of being preceded by Limbo, Dis pits you against the Spider Mastermind and 3 other monsters in a shuriken-shaped arena, and that's it. Single segment, this map can be beaten in 15 seconds by spamming BFG at everything until it dies, and it's only slightly less of a cinch from pistol start. Bear in mind there's no health, 1 mega armor, 100 cells, and 20 rockets in the whole level, which you likely won't collect in full. All you have to do is get the Spider to infight with the Baron and Kakos, which she can hardly help but do, and then light her up from the rear. It takes less than 90 seconds. I wasn't lucky enough to have the last Baron die on cue, but I couldn't be bothered to do it again. I guess I'm lazy. But at least I'm not lazier than the end of Doom's 3rd episode. Dis gets a D- with a difficulty of E. So, that's Doom. The WAD, the myth, the legend. Doom invented the wheel, so to speak, and it's unquestionably above my station to judge, but at the end of the day, I'm doing this for fun, and it really doesn't matter. So here's my final breakdown. Knee Deep in the Dead is undoubtedly the most consistent and entertaining episode in Doom, but I happen to like the high points of Shores of Hell better than Romero's best. Inferno is a mess, with 2 or 3 maps barely salvaging self-respect from the manure that makes up the rest. Removing my nostalgia goggles, I can guiltlessly admit that most of these levels are primitive and ugly compared to what you'd see in a blockbuster modern megawad like Ancient Aliens or Of Eternity, and the restricted monster variety and lack of a super shotgun render Doom's combat anemic compared to Doom 2 and its many successors. Despite these limitations, I still enjoyed playing it. For a final grade, I give it a C. Think of it as the perfectly average wad. Everything else should fall 50-50 above and below it. As for difficulty, I can't think of any wad I've played that's easier, so I guess I'll give it an E by default, with anything easier getting an E- from now on. So here's the Dean's List. Valedictorian, E2M6, Halls of the Damned. Salutatorian, E1M6, Central Processing. Class President, E2M6, Halls of the Damned. And the dunce cap goes to E2M9, Fortress of Mystery, of course. Thank you very much for watching, and please feel free to share your thoughts on the wad in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. This is Mount Pain 27. I'll see you in the next episode of Dean of Doom.